Back in my Exploring the Retro Halloween Aesthetic video, I mentioned how the short It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown was a staple of many children's childhoods during Halloween time. If you haven't seen that video yet, the link will be in the description. In this video, I'm going to be going more in depth on the special itself, its origins, and its impact today. In the 1940s, Charles M. Schulz submitted his Little Folks cartoons to the United Feature Syndicate. Interested in the project, the UFS preferred a comic strip format, and from 1947 to 1950, the Little Folks cartoon strips appeared in the St. Paul Pioneer Press. This had the first usage of Charlie Brown and a dog that looked similar to early versions of Snoopy. Due to a copyright battle with Tack Knight's Little Folks, a retired 1930s comic with a similar name, the UFS had to find a new name for Schulz's comic. Even though Schulz argued that they were different, Knight's was trademarked and the production manager of UFS had to choose a different name. A popular children's program at the time, Howdy Doody, featured children seated in the peanut gallery referred to as Peanuts.
Kenny, did you ever do anything wrong?
I farted.
This title was enforced onto Schulz for the title of his comic strips. Schulz hated the title so much, he refused to say that he was associated with it. When someone asked about his job, he would just claim that he drew the comic with Snoopy and Charlie Brown in it. Even though he tried to change the name several times, none were successful due to licensing issues. On October 2nd, 1950, the Peanut strip began with 4 panels that showed Charlie Brown walking by 2 other kids, Shermy and Patty. Shermy shouts Charlie's name as he walks by, but then turns to Patty about how he hates him in the last panel. Snoopy appeared in the 3rd strip on October 4th, with many of Charlie Brown's classic friends following soon after. On October 29th through 31st, 1951, 3 Halloween strips were released, one of which was adapted into It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. The comic strips ended its run in newspapers on February 13, 2000, the day after Schulz's death. When it came to TV specials, convincing networks to produce them was challenging as people felt that, quote, viewers are not ready for a sophisticated comic strip like Peanuts, end quote. CBS then signed A Great Charlie Brown Christmas with preview screenings going horribly. However, when it aired, the special became a hit with viewers, causing CBS to produce more specials like Charlie Brown's All-Stars in 1965 and It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown on October 27, 1966. The special adapted several of the comic strips to create a 25-minute short. Produced and animated by Bill Melendez, the special starts with Linus and Lucy going to a pumpkin patch to find a pumpkin to use as a jack-o'-lantern. Linus rejects some of the pumpkins while Lucy selects a large one that she forces Linus to carry back home. At home, Lucy begins to carve the pumpkin while Linus watches in horror. It then cuts to the opening sequence of trick-or-treaters being chased by different ghosts, pumpkins, and other items that represent Halloween. Then it's the classic title screen. The next scene is Charlie Brown raking leaves with the help of Snoopy. Linus then jumps into the pile of leaves, ruining all of Charlie's hard work.
Never jump into a pile of leaves with a wet sucker.
Then it's the classic scene where Lucy comes in with a football for Charlie to kick, and you know the rest. Linus writes a letter to the Great Pumpkin as if he's Santa Claus. Everyone believes that the Great Pumpkin is fake and makes fun of him for it, except Charlie's younger sister Sally, who has a crush on Linus and supports him with his obsession. After Linus mails out his letter, Charlie Brown dances with excitement because he was invited to Violet's Halloween party. Lucy explains that she is certain that his name was actually meant to be on the list of people not to invite. On Halloween night, everyone is dressed up in their costumes. Lucy is a green witch while others like Pigpen and Charlie go as sheet ghosts. Before they go out, they pass Linus in the pumpkin patch to make fun of him for constantly missing out on trick-or-treating to see the Great Pumpkin. Sally decides to stay with him while the rest leave. While trick-or-treating, everyone receives candy except Charlie Brown, who gets a rock.
I got a popcorn ball. I got a fudge bar. I got a pack of gum. I got a rock.
This was because the animators were having a playful argument on what he should get, stating, maybe we ought to have Charlie Brown get a rock. Mendelsohn then replied, oh come on, that's a little too harsh and cruel. After trick-or-treating, the gang goes to Violet's party. Meanwhile, Snoopy is off doing his own adventure sporting World War I flying ace gear. After being shot down, Snoopy crashes into the Halloween party.
Blech! My lips touch dog lips!
He then goes to the pumpkin patch where Linus and Sally are. The two hear Snoopy and believe that it's the Great Pumpkin. As his shadow rises above the pumpkin, Linus faints. Sally then recognizes that it is Snoopy and is upset that she missed out on all the activities just to wait around in the pumpkin patch. It ends with Linus slipping up with his words, causing the Great Pumpkin not to come. Even then, he still waits in the patch until 4 a.m., and Lucy then picks him up and tucks him into bed. Even after all that, Linus still believes in the Great Pumpkin. And honestly, same. The short then went on to be nominated for 2 Emmys for Outstanding Children's Program and Special Classification of Individual Achievement. The short starred Peter Robbins as Charlie Brown, who was also Elmer in the Munsters, Christopher Shea as Linus, Sally Dreyer as Lucy, who does the Sims voices in the OG Sims, Kathy Steinberg as Sally, and Bill Melendez as Snoopy, who is the animator for all the specials. Like many of the Charlie Brown specials, the soundtrack is a classic, composed by Vince Guaraldi. Last year, a vinyl was released in an orange pumpkin shape of the special soundtrack. If you haven't listened to it yet, I highly recommend it. Some fun facts about the short is that it is rumored that there is a scene where the Great Pumpkin was revealed in the original airing, but was since deleted. This has not been confirmed or denied. Additionally, the Coca-Cola and Dolly Madison logos appeared in the special's opening credits as sponsors. For the 40th anniversary, a retrospective book was published in 2006 called It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, The Making of a Television Classic, with the entire script, photographs that have never been seen before, storyboards, and interviews with the original child actors of the Peanuts gang. The special quickly became a classic, spawning tons of merchandise like the ones in Hallmark stores and figures created by Memory Lane. Recently, Super 7 released mini reaction figures based on the Halloween strips and supersized figures of Lucy and Charlie based on the TV special. Even in stores this year, there's cereal based on the series, which I think is super cute. It's basically just a vanilla version of Lucky Charms, but I devoured it immediately. It was just so good. It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown has also been referenced in other media, like Treehouse of Horror 19 of The Simpsons, titled It's the Grand Pumpkin Millhouse, which is a parody of the special. The Penguins of Madagascar episode Friend in a Box, where Skipper and Private look through binoculars and Skipper states that he sees a bald kid and his dog sitting in a pumpkin patch. South Park's Chupacabra, where Kyle wakes up in a parody of when Lucy drags Linus out of the pumpkin patch, and of course Pop Tropica, with the island called Great Pumpkin Island. In 1983, Camp Snoopy opened in Knott's Berry Farm as the first section of an amusement park for children under 12 years old. And in 1993, Camp Snoopy became Camp Spooky for Knott's Spooky Farm, which was a family-friendly alternative to Knott's Scary Farm, where kids can wear costumes and interact with the Peanuts gang, who are also in Halloween attire. This event still goes on to this day with a stage show featuring the Great Pumpkin called the Great Pumpkin Palooza, which is very loosely based on the special. Even the Grand Sierra Railroad gets a Halloween makeover for the season, along with the rest of Camp Snoopy. Today, Apple TV released a new Peanuts Halloween special called The Perfect Pumpkin, as part of the Snoopy Show shorts. This features Snoopy and Woodstock going to a pumpkin patch to try and find, you guessed it, the perfect pumpkin for Halloween. Even though the animation is a bit dated, whether you watch it on VHS, DVD, when it aired, or even on Apple TV, It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown remains a staple for the Halloween season even over 50 years after it's been released. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!